Hi everyone, I hope you're well. We're looking at a tutorial to get started on Timechaser, and here are some examples of work from previous years. These are graphics that students have created in predominantly year 9, some of them were in year 10, and here are some more as well. And we were also going to look at their sketches that they did. So hopefully you've already done a sketch. We're not really judging the quality of the drawing here, it's more the layout. You have the key elements like the title, Peggy logo, platform logos, etc. In this bottom corner, and where the imagery will be. It might be a bit reliant on like the imagery that you've got, so I'm just going to talk you through how you might get all of these pieces together and get started. So I'm going to talk you through a piece of software called Photopea, and the website for this is simply photopea.com. It's very similar to Photoshop, key difference being it's free. Sometimes you might actually come across a different window. So if I went incognito, it might show you a different splash or different start screen. It might come up with this. You can just cross that and then agree and proceed. I suppose for these cookies, you can read it, manage options. You might want to set no adverts, but I'm just going to agree and save, and we're on this start screen. There are adverts on this, so maybe I go into my version because I've got an ad blocker on. And we are, first of all, we need to set up a new canvas. So I'm going to go into File and New. At which point we need to set the canvas size. So we're going to go back to the brief, and the brief here says that it needs to be 215 millimeters by 140 millimeters. So we'll change to millimeters. We'll go 215 by 140. And we'll set this to 300 dpi because it's a print project. You want it to be high quality, so it's going to be 300 dpi. Later on, when we get onto the web version and it's 600 pixels high and a lower res, we can go back to 72 dpi. But for now, 300 dpi is good. So we'll press create, and we are here. This is our canvas, and the first thing I'm going to show you is how you might want to put a image onto here, and I'll talk about a background image and then a main character image. Now you've got a few choices for using images. I'll talk about copyright free first of all, and then you can also look at copyright images if you really must. That's fine as well, although you just need to be aware that if you were to publish it in the public domain, then you couldn't use copyright images. But as this coursework, you're probably fine. Is for limited educational use, so you're somewhat exempt from copyright, but you have to acknowledge where your information comes from. So the first thing I might want to do is find a space background, and I'm using the website pixabay.com. You can also use Pexels, that's P-E-X-E-L-S. Both of them have high quality free images, completely royalty free and usable. So these are all great background images that we could use for our Timechaser advert. Someone who travels through time and goes through these portals and doorways. So let's try and find an image that I think might work. I want something that's not too busy, so something that's space-like, but at the same time doesn't have too much going on. Let's just go back to the top here and pick an image, and we'll download a high quality version of it. For sake of argument, let's just go for this image here. We're going to go for free download, and we're going to go for the highest quality we can possibly find. We're going to download that. It might ask you to join. You can join with your Google account or an email. I'm going to log in with my Google account here, and I've got a school Google account, so I'll use this one. I think that will do. It doesn't let me do it, so let's just use my personal Google account, this one here. And that has downloaded the high quality image to my downloads folder. I also want a picture of like a futuristic kind of time traveler. So I'm going to go for futuristic character and see what comes up for my actual Timechaser. We've got this robot. I mean, some of these aren't great. So at this point, just for the purposes of speed and quality, I am actually going to go across to Google Images for this one. So let's just type futuristic character into Google Images. The cool thing about Google Images is we can select ones with like transparent backgrounds or at least solid backgrounds. So if you go into Tools, I'm going to go to Size and Large, so it's high quality. And provided it's on a solid background, I can then delete the background. And also, or I can just go for color transparent, and that will pick only ones with transparent backgrounds. You got like a variety of these that might look like Timechaser kind of characters that travel through time, solving mysteries. This one looks pretty cool because you could argue that this is like a Timechaser watch if your target audience was young girls and women, then perhaps this would be a great role model, but it doesn't have to be. And if you like the look of this, if you scroll down, you'll actually see similar characters down below. So let's go for a female protagonist. 800 by 2071 is pretty decent quality. Let's just open the image in a new tab and see what happens. Great. Is it actually transparent? Is there a glow there? I think there's a bit of glow, but let's just save that image as well. So save that, and ideally we'd save it all in the same folder. So I'm just going to save everything in pictures for now. Save that. This image that I downloaded previously, I'm going to press show in folder, and it went to my download. So I'm just going to cut that and drop that into my pictures as well in here. Okay. So how do we get those into Photopea then? So what we're going to do is we're going to do File, and we're going to do Open and Place. And the first thing we're going to place is our background, because that's our background layer. Let's close this. And it might not fit exactly, so we're going to hold down Shift on our keyboard, and then just make this slightly larger as such. There we go. And press tick. Now what I want to do is I want to place my other image on top of it. So I'm going to go File, Open and Place again, and I'm going to place my protagonist on top of there. Yeah, it looks pretty decent because I already chose a transparent background. Some things are getting lost slightly, so you might want to give her an outline maybe. So we can try and do that. I'm just kind of like off the cuff kind of freestyling here. So I mainly use Photoshop, but I imagine the settings are very similar. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to resize this character slightly. Because I want to leave some text, some room at the top for the text Timechaser. I'll put her as close to the bottom as possible. I can use the arrow keys to nudge up and down, and I'll press tick there. Okay, I want to add a bit of a glow or an outline to that, so I'm going to use the magic wand and just select around. That seems to have worked okay. Seems to have selected an area around her. Let me just turn this off because it looks as though it's selected a shadow. So let's just see what's going on there. Looks like she's got a glow. What happens if I just rasterize this? So to make it into pixels, so I can edit it and just delete that. Nothing's happened, which is perfect. So let's just do that again. Let's click around the outside. So now I'm like much closer. Or am I? I don't know what that is. I'm just going to delete that. Looks like some form of glow. But I want to create a glow around the outside of her. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to go into this effects tool down here and go effects. And then we're going to go, let's see what happens if we go outer glow. Move that to the side here. Are we seeing that glow at all? Not really. So let's increase the spread. Oh, so you can kind of see a bit of a glow going there. By much. What about the size? Oh yeah, so that's giving us a bit more of a glow, and if we wanted that in white or colour which will stand out from the background, say if we said rather than that cream we want a bright white, we could do that. That looks pretty neat now as a glow around it. I'll just press OK. Now there are other things you can do as well. Let's just deselect, Control D to deselect, You might also want to change the blend mode. So if you want to fade things into the background, we can also do that. So let's now get a picture of a clock, like a large clock, because she's a time chaser, or like a large doorway maybe. We're going to go back to Pixabay for that, because I think I can find a copy which is a large clock. So we'll go clock, and I do want one with a transparent background or something similar. So this might work, or something with a plain background. I looked at this earlier in class actually, it worked okay. Oh, this looks good, because you've got this doorway and you've got this whole steampunk thing going on, and it's got clocks. It's perfect. Let's go free download, large image, and we'll download that. It's in the wrong folder, obviously. It's in my downloads folder, so I'm going to move that into pictures. Done. And once again, what we're going to do, hopefully remember it's file and place. So we're going to go file, and we're going to place this. So open and place in Photoshop, just file place. And we're going to put this here. Conveniently, it fits. In terms of the layout now, I want to put this behind the woman, but in front of space. And already it's looking pretty cool, but there's no blend. Like, this is such a hard edge. Let's just get this resized. So I've got my transform controls ticked, and I'm going to go all the way to the edge here. Holding down shift so I'm not distorting it. She's kind of in the doorway. We could make it a bit larger so that she's exactly in the doorway, like that. Could do something like that. That looks very cool. And then we wanted to fade it into the space. So you can see that, like, if you were just doing this in an approximate way, we might just draw down the opacity, and already you've got the space coming through and a bit of the clock and the doorway coming through there. That's already like a pretty neat effect. But you can also flick through this and look at different layer styles. That's normal. Dissolve. So I'm just flicking through with the arrow keys. That's great. Like darken. But as if we mix that opacity down, like darken. Oh, it's a bit much actually. Let's just try something else. Multiply. Color burn. Ooh, darker color. This one looks great. Lighten. What happens if we mix that opacity down again? Yeah, that looks cool. So you've got the space coming through, and you've got the doorway, and you've got this clock there. Perfect. I think I'm just going to end the tutorial there for the first part, because now we've looked at layering images on top of each other, playing around with these levels, and then also creating, using the effects tool to use like an outer glow there as well. So we've done quite a few things there, and on the next tutorial I'm going to talk about adding in a title, for example, like the text Timechaser. Okay, we'll stop it there.